let's start buying. Multi-track mixing. First things first, the genre is hip-hop. So this whole section, I shouldn't really talk about it because it's not necessarily in the genre. However, we've got some basic EQs here. Explain that later. I was having a problem with the spacing of everything. I'm parallel processing them with a reverb bus, which I keep consistent throughout the whole song because that's a technique I've learned through uni lessons and from watching professional engineers. By doing that, you have the effect of everything sounds like it's in the same space. And that consistency makes a song sound far more coherent. So I managed to use compression, reduce the dynamic range so that all of these can blend together in the right space. Nothing's jumping out too much to the point where it's overpowering the other frequencies. Use this here, this EQ on all of these channels, as you can see, to carve out those frequencies where I want this instrument to sit. Alright, forget that. Don't worry about that. Leads that play, I've got them with the high frequencies boosted. 9K and above is like your presence, air to the noise. And then we have some of the mids boosted just to give it more full, because those frequencies are where it kind of sounds a bit weak, very hollow sounding. So I boosted that. These two are quite high pitch, which sound great. One of them's far on the right, one of them's far on the left, but all this by panning them this way and putting them in the stereo field in this way, it's not overpowering, it's not too loud, yeah, it feels full. How do I describe it? It's very much there and you can very much hear it, but it's by no means something that's like irritating. It doesn't poke out, and because they're so similar, you can blend them very easily together. But the compressor's there just to make sure it doesn't jump too high. The sound is getting louder and more full. It's not going over a peak I want it to. And that's why I use compression the way I do, to just have control over the sound. And this is, I see Mark Ronson doing this. Like, all these man do this technique because it's sick. And drums here, put them all down to 0, brought them up to about -14. Around that area, it gives it space for when I boost frequencies. It gives me room to move things around the stereo field, or it's actually referred to as headroom. We've got kick. I've cut loads of low frequencies because I'd rather have in this one the bass hitting hardest. That's a creative decision that most people make is, okay, do I want the kick hitting or do I want the 808 hitting? This case with hip hop, I want the 808 hitting because I want this to bang and boom. I mean, typically on underground stuff, you're using FL, you've got a clipper on, you're just distorting the crap out of your 808. So at least I'm thinking about it. All these producers these days just kind of whack stuff on, and it annoys me because it's better than mine. So I need to stop whinging and be better. Side tangent. We have the 808 side chained to kick. That way, when the 808 hits the transient, sends signal to the compressor, which then pushes down the kick. That is so that they don't overlap too much. You have the punchiness of the kick being boosted around 10k hertz. Mids of kicks aren't really that necessary, mainly just like muddiness. Then we've got lows, pretty normal. The sub frequencies, so that's like 100 to 300, 100 to 200, they are cut. Overheads, now these ones are pretty cool, sending reverb out, got no low end and got delay hitting on the 1, that makes it more spacious, it sound more full. We've got a saturator to boost the harmonics of it, just makes it sound brighter and it makes it poke through more. A compressor, because with this genre specifically, I like to have these hit off and on very quickly. It's more percussive than it is on a rock song or a traditional drum kit, like it's coming out of an old 808 drum machine. I'm using 808s, I want this to sound quite like it's coming from one of these older machines. The hip hop, that's how it was made, that's where it came from, and this is the development of that. Hi-hat, no processor needed, the sample's great. Just got a random perk here, gave it some reverb to make it blend into the beat more. Where's my snare? 3 different snares, I think, is it? So, 3 snares. Main snare that's punchy is a chop snare. The high end boosted. I've got some of the low end boosted because I want this to really punch, almost like a kick. Reverb on it. This is a beautiful snare. Crisp. It's our layered snares. Left, right, and a bit more on the right side. By adding so many layers so far apart, I feel like it's surrounding you. This is just to keep the rhythm, to keep it interesting. Reverb on these as well, so they blend into the beat easier. And at this section, I've got it automated so that the synth's reverb is dropped in and out, where the vocals are not as important, it's more the rhythmic side of things. Present lead, that means that you're focusing on it and it's taking you through the song. When I take it out, when people are starting to rap harder on this beat and start to say something they mean, then it's when it gets pushed to the back so you can hear what's being said. And that's when I bring up the snare as well, because by bringing up the snare at that moment, it's like, now we're actually focused and this is some impactful stuff that's happening in the moment now. Where am I on time here? 17 minutes. I'm very much running out of time, so I'm going to have to go over vocals quite quickly, even though this is probably the massivest bit. In short, I sped up the beat, my friend rapped on it, and then it was slowed down again, and that's how you get the low pitch sounds and the high pitch sounds. In terms of processing and my chain, I've cut out the low frequencies, the boomy subby ones that you don't want in a vocal. I've got compressors here, like minus 5 dBs, pretty medium release, medium attack. This is just to make sure the sound is more consistent. I've got an EQ as well, getting rid of harsh frequencies from the microphone that I don't like. I've got a reverb on it and another compressor. Waves, which is an auto tune. The delay is parallel processed. What am I doing, man? Got this delay, which is parallel process, which basically means that I'm having 2 duplicate signals coming through and they get blended at the end, right? This one that has delay on it, and it has a compressor that's side-chained to the pre-FX channel strip, which means that this audio channel is getting ducked down when the vocals are playing. The effect of that is when you stop speaking, the side-chained channel has a chance to come up slightly, depending on how much you want that to come up. So I just leave mine at about minus 13 decibels, so to have all this control over that sound. That basically means that anytime the vocal's playing and it stops, the delay comes in. That way it doesn't muddy up the noise. I do it on Ableton in this way, which not many people do.
Too way for this shit.
That's about it. That's all I can say about these vocals.
Heard your shit, you ain't lit as this. Nah. Heard your shit, you ain't lit as this. I'm too way.
Ad-libs have more reverb and they're a bit quieter. They're spaced out more. And then we have my vocals, which again is a very similar chain. It's just more catered to mine, which are a bit more high pitch, wherever they are.
Feminine, yeah, I don't care about those numbers, bitches and never quit.
There you go. That's it. That's it done, and that took 20 minutes. I'm going to go mad.